Quiet quitting has now been upgraded to quiet cracking, the latest in the trend where we blame the workforce for the actions of their toxic employers. They're defining quiet cracking as when workers show up to do their jobs, but they're struggling in silence because they don't feel like there's any support and they're totally burned out. And this survey actually finds that the majority of the workforce is experiencing this. They're persistently unhappy, they're not performing, they're not engaged, they want to quit, but they can't because the job market sucks. And I love the framing of the employer as the victim. It's a workplace threat. It's something employers have to worry about. And my hot take on this is that we have to stop acting like this is some issue of the workforce or of employees like collectively deciding to be dissatisfied at work. My hot take on this is that employers need to take responsibility for the conditions that they have created across the workplace. People have bigger workloads, but they're not getting more pay, they're not getting more resources. They go on PTO, but there's not enough coverage at work for them to actually fully disconnect. Teams are getting smaller as a result of all of these layoffs, and yet these companies are producing record revenues, which essentially means that productivity per person is skyrocketing. We're continually raising the bar for what people need to be able to do, for the skill set they need to have. We're telling them to be scrappy and entrepreneurial, and yet they don't actually have the time to figure out how to do any of that. And then on top of that, we're essentially in a corporate recession where it's so hard to find jobs that people are afraid to quit, even if they're miserable. So people are afraid to say something. They don't want to be the person who's a bad culture fit, who can't handle pressure, who isn't resilient. So we need to move away from these cute little workplace trends where we blame the workforce for cracking under the pressure. I'm sure there's a better name for it, but right now I'm calling it quiet overloading because what employers are doing is quietly stacking more and more on their employees. But whatever you want to call it, we need to stop seeing this as a threat of employees cracking under the pressure, and we need to see the real threat as employers putting too much pressure on their workforce.